Alrighty, I think we're good. Haven't posted in a while. I keep adding things to my posting process, unfortunately. In some cases that's good, in some cases not that good. Recently I added the script, so DE script, to the process of posting these videos. The goal there was to just cut out silences, ahs, other stuff that's maybe not as necessary, and I've cut out even entire sections of stuff that I've talked about because it's just not very concise or valuable for a video. Today I have a few thoughts or ideas or topics rattling in my mind. One of them is ADHD versus personality. I have ADHD and I also have some personality quirks. My issue with my ADHD is that it hinders my productivity. It wastes my time, my energy, and I don't get all the things accomplished that I want to get accomplished. It hinders me from accomplishing my goals. And that is also partly why I've been so focused on ADHD and productivity, reading a lot about self-help, success, psychology, all these topics. Obviously, people with ADHD will have certain strengths. Maybe those strengths will be in creativity, in passion, in recognizing valuable opportunities, because they're very interest and value focused. They might not be great at doing what has to be done because, well, we agreed on this plan, so we now need to make sure that we're gonna do whatever the plan says, versus person with ADHD might see, hey, sure, we agreed on this plan, but look, there's a much better opportunity that will get us much quicker and more effectively to the goal we were striving for. So a lot of people with ADHD have these strengths. They're good at generating ideas, they're good at recognizing opportunities, they're good at making connections, which is basically a prerequisite for generating ideas and recognizing opportunities, because you have to make a connection between different things. We need this, there's this weird thing happening there, we could use this to achieve this. So you're making a connection between two things. Also, a lot of the time, people with ADHD, since they have so many different interests, will have a generalist perspective. They will have a lot of different fields of knowledge where they're maybe not complete experts in, but they know enough where they could say, right, so we hired this guy or this company to do this, but I know that they're doing something incorrectly because I read a lot about this. As a generalist, people with ADHD can bring a lot of value to the table because they see some patterns more clearly, they can predict some things more clearly because they have been interested in a lot of things. They have a lot of knowledge in certain areas which a very specialized person who doesn't have ADHD, let's say a programmer who has no idea about design, might create a first version of an application and it will look so hideous, will have such a bad user interface, so unfriendly that it will be basically unusable. While someone with ADHD might not be as good of a programmer, but they will create a far better demo or first version of an application just because they dabbled a little bit in design, user experience, stuff like that. And again, they're not a great designer, they're not great at user experience, but because they dabbled a little bit, their first version will be far better than whatever the other programmer might have created. So basically what I'm saying is people with ADHD have a lot of value to bring to the table, but we also can get very distracted very easily. We can get hyper focused on the wrong things, things that might not be useful right now or maybe ever. I tend to sometimes hyper focus on details. I can spend a lot of time figuring out a small problem, like a detail that's out of place, and I spend a lot of time thinking how this can be solved. This can be very useful, but it can also be a huge waste of time because I should be doing something else. Maybe this detail will never be looked at this closely as I'm looking at it now. So I spend a lot of time solving this issue, but there will be maybe 5 people who will see this and they won't pay much attention to it. When it becomes useful is when this detail will be shown to thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. Let's say there's an extra click that a person has to make in some sort of app. And if I focus a lot of time on improving this user experience where there's, let's say, I could shave off 2 extra clicks from the user experience. But if this website will be seen by 20 people a month, then is it that useful? Obviously not. If it's seen by hundreds of thousands of people, then cumulatively 200,000 clicks will take quite a bit of time if we sum them up, right? So what I've been slowly realizing is that it's a question of scale and perspective and role. If I'm in an employee role, my effective hourly rate might be 100 euros an hour. So if I create a website in 50 hours, I will charge 5,000 euros for that website. If I can pay someone else to do half the tasks for 25 euros an hour, then I have saved 75 euros per hour. I could focus on those other tasks that I can't outsource to someone else. And as a result, my hourly rate will be higher now because I can get a second client, so I can do 2 clients in the same amount of time. So now I will earn 10,000 euros while I might have to pay 25% of my earnings. Effectively, I've made more money by doing less work. In this sense, me being hyper focused on certain details is either a good thing or a bad thing depending on the role and the specific tasks that I'm dealing with. So if the detail is being solved at a task, let's say, which I can pay someone else to do for 25 euros, then it's better if I paid someone else to do it manually. Let's say I can focus on automating some part, some little detail, but this automation will be actually maybe used only once a year. So rather than me automating a little thing that will be done a few times a year, I will just pay someone else to do it manually, no automation needed. But if it's a task I can't outsource because it's very complex or specialized, which only I can do in my company, then if I can automate some part of this task, it makes much more sense, because no one else can do it, I can't outsource it, and if it's something that I have to do way more than a couple of times a year, then this is obviously going to make me more money, it's going to save me time, and it's going to also be more valuable to the clients, because, well, now I can focus on other aspects of whatever work I'm doing for them, right? So in this sense, I can control my hyperfocus. And I've been hesitant to outsource things. I've had issues giving away control for certain things because I'm thinking no one else is going to be able to do it as well as me. I will have to pay them. Maybe I enjoy doing it to a degree, but would I rather do that than, let's say, go for a bike ride in nature, right? I might somewhat enjoy it and I have to do it, so it's maybe one of my more pleasant work tasks, but would I not rather have free time? So I'm slowly realizing that I have to fill up my pipeline of work tasks, assignments, have more clients, so that I can choose the things that I outsource to others. Because if I have someone who's a virtual assistant who can do different tasks which don't require a lot of specialization, don't require complex coding skills or whatever, something that can be done quite easily manually, but it just takes some time. Now that I have more work on my plate, I can pick and choose the most high leverage tasks and outsource some of the others, right? I will make more money in a shorter period of time, while maybe I will do more work as well, because I have to explain the tasks to those people. I have to show how they're done. I have to correct them if they make a mistake. But next time it will be easier. Next time they will know, oh, right, don't do this, do this. Goes quicker, fewer mistakes, fewer time spent on communication. So now I've created a system which is sort of like automation, in the sense that I'm not doing this, someone else is doing this, and I can trust them to do it well. So now my time, my mind is freed to deal with higher leverage tasks, to do marketing campaigns, to do sales, to find sales people who can do sales for me if I'm not good at sales, or if there's some part of the sales process that I just can outsource, right? So that was my thought number one. Thought number two is stress and meditation. I've had more tasks than maybe usually, more clients, and clients of different types. This thinking that I just described, to a degree, has been thrust upon me by the fact that I do have more things on my plate and I have to find a way to manage it. So that's why I'm saying put more things on your plate, because Now you can choose what you can do, what you should outsource, and so on. But also because it helps you see and recognize the deficiencies in your processes before, right? Because you will start seeing the cracks in your systems, you will start seeing where you spend too much time, you will start seeing the details that you focus too much on and that don't bring any monetary value to your projects, right? But with this filling up your plate thing, what happens is there's more stress. And I've been sick quite a bit in the last month, which obviously hinders my ability to do work, my ability to have free time, to enjoy myself, to be effective at work. It comes with the territory of having more stuff to manage. Stress is sort of a choice. You can see stress as a problem. There was some research that people who have more stress have more health issues. But they later looked at the research more and realized that people who view stress as bad have more health issues. People who view stress as something that helps them focus or where they're more in the zone, those people didn't have any health issues related to stress. And when we have some interactions which are stressful, maybe someone isn't content with the speed of the progress that some project is having, right? Maybe things aren't moving as fast as they would like to, and there's some negative interactions around it. If you take that stress on, because this is stress, this is someone who is themselves stressed, in a bad mood, maybe angry, maybe just discontent, and now they're putting it on you. Well, you can choose to take it on, or you can choose to not receive it. Look at it calmly and see what is the real issue here. Why are they angry? Maybe there's something else going on. You could ask them point blank. I see that you're not happy with the progress we're making, but does it really warrant this anger? Are there some other issues causing you stress, for example? Talk to the person and see, I understand that there's an issue here, but I'm not creating this problem on purpose. I'm not trying to ruin your day. I'm not trying to maybe ruin the project, right? So what's going on? Why are you this angry? Do you have some other things going on? Is there some reason why this project really needs to get done by this date? Like, are you maybe in debt? So maybe they need it to get done because they just really need the money, right? So you could see what's happening there. Another thing is that maybe it is their issue, maybe they have anger issues, right? So you could listen to them, disconnect from the emotional part. You realize, okay, so this is important to them. They're not happy here. So you can listen to them, what specifically is the issue. I think this was in the beginning times of Microsoft and Apple, where Steve Jobs and Bill Gates had some joint projects. Steve Jobs was constantly angry at Bill Gates because Bill Gates was doing some shady stuff there. But what Bill Gates did was he calmly listened to Steve and just, okay, we'll try to do better or whatever, right? And obviously it doesn't help if you're gonna start arguing or making excuses. I've used this not like consciously, it's not like something that I learned from Bill Gates or whatever, but just naturally I've used this with some clients where they weren't happy with something. I see where the issue came from because I listened to them, and then I explained to them, okay, I understand that you're not happy with this, but this happened because early in the process I did mention that it's not a good idea to do this. I did mention that function over form, right? There was like some issue in the design process where I said, okay, we're sort of focusing on the wrong details here because this might change later on, and now we're just spending time on things that might not matter later on. But this client still wanted to focus on that, and then later on was very surprised that the project budget grew to be so large. And I explained to him that we focused on some of the things that actually we had to throw out later because you gave us some changes later on. And then he sort of realized, oh, okay, and then he calmed down. So it might be a communication issue, a problem someone else is having, or the issue might be just some error in the system. Maybe there's some alarm bells, something is broken somewhere. You can choose to panic or like take on the stress, or very calmly see, okay, there's some sort of issue. Let's look at the facts. Let's see what we can do, what we can avoid, and how we can remedy the situation. Maybe we'll have to pay something extra here to solve this, but let's just very calmly look at what's happening. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is meditation, which is something that I haven't been doing lately. It's something that I've had periods where I had to do it because I was having panic attacks. I was having very strong anxiety issues because I wasn't managing my stress very well, and my body forced me to deal with my stress management issues. So I started meditating, I started running, being more social, because basically it tells your prehistoric cave person brain that you have people around you who you care about, who care about you, who will help you out if you have problems. So that sort of gives you a feeling of safety and maybe a feeling of meaning, that you're not alone, that you're working to improve something that might be helpful to others as well. So meditation, exercise, and being social, talking to people, doing stuff with people. So basically these three things helped me to cope with stress, with panic attacks, and I should be doing more of them now as well, because I've seen my health decline a little bit. And with meditation specifically, something that's been more prevalent these days, people are seeing the value of it, but a lot of people are still not sure what's it all about. They don't think that they can just clear their mind for half an hour, but it's not so much about that. It's about sort of training your body and your mind and your emotions to relax. It's about just sort of training the relaxation muscle, because when I was meditating regularly, I was able to relax in maybe 5 seconds, which is not something most people can do. It's not something that maybe I can do right now, because like it takes time to train this response in your body and nervous system. So it's not about being a perfect meditator. It's about just learning to relax, to let go of thoughts. It's not about clearing your mind completely. It's about letting the thoughts and maybe ideas and problems or whatever, all the noise of everyday life, to come in and leave, to come in and get out, you know, or to come in and be set aside for later moment when you have time to deal with this, or you can think about it more intently. So yeah, that's about it. As I will end this video, I will try to do a little bit of meditation, and I will continue with my work for today. See you in the next video.